Hey guys, welcome to Learning the Wildlife. I'm Joshua, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to set a coil spring trap so you can catch foxes just like this. Let's get started. So you guys may be asking the question, why would you even trap? What's the point in trapping? And why do people do it? Well, trapping, guys, is actually a great way to control the population of predators in an area, or just control the population of any animal. Sometimes the population gets unbalanced, and maybe a pest to you if you have a farm or something, guys. So actually setting a traps is such a big help, guys. We used to have chickens and ducks and a lot of animals, and we actually would have foxes come and kill those animals. So we started trapping, and it actually got rid of a lot of them. And we are starting to know that our turkey population around here, because we were big hunters, guys, we noticed our turkey population started rising. Now we got flocks of turkeys around here because we were trapping foxes and possums, which actually eat the turkey eggs. And so our whole bird population and the things we love to hunt, like squirrels, our populations have skyrocketed, and so that leaves more meat for us. And we can also use the furs that we get from the predator. So trapping is far more beneficial than it is harmful. So everyone, one of the first things you need to consider when you go to set your first coil spring trap is where you're going to set your trap, guys. That is like one of the most important things for this whole deal. So keep an eye out for things such as animal tracks, animal scat, which is poop, animal trails, and also places where the animal you're seeking might be feeding. Like if there's a lot of squirrels in the area and you've seen a lot of rabbits or even little mice or birds, because they are opportunists, guys. Most animals are opportunists, so they're going to be seeking places where they can get some food. So your trap might just welcome some into your area, and you might just possibly catch that animal. So don't just walk out there, guys, to set a trap anymore. Look for places and things that might actually provide you with some success next time you go to trapping. Alright, so the next thing you need to consider, guys, before you even set your trap is what bait you're going to be using, guys. And that all depends on what animal you're going to be seeking. One all-around scent you can use, guys, to actually get your animals to you, like a fox or a coyote or even bobcats, is red fox urine. You put a few drops on there, potential of catching something is still pretty high. The next thing we're going to talk about, guys, that's one of my favorites, is just straight up coyote chunk bait. Now this is actually bait, guys. The red fox urine is actually a scent. This is a bait. This is actually something they can eat. The scents are like liquid, the stuff they smell. The baits are stuff that they can actually come and eat. So this is actually coyote bait. It's got like aged beaver meat and stuff, like actual meats and stuff in it, that actually the animal will come, eat it, he'll more than likely set in your trap, which we'll explain how to set later. And then another one of my favorites, if you're going for bobcats, is bobcat gland lure, guys. This stuff's spectacular and super strong. Actually, I've caught a lot of raccoons with this. And another very important part of trapping, guys, is your tools. Now the tools are the things that you're going to be setting your trap with. Now when you go to set your trap, make sure you have a shovel. This little shovel right here is about $1, it ain't expensive. And then the trap stake. This will actually hold the trap down. Now this can be found on your trapping section in your store or in the trapping section online. So the stake, you'll bang it down in there with a hammer. You gotta have a hammer. We don't have a hammer today, guys, so we're actually using a giant rock. We're going primitive style today, guys. So you'll beat this down there, and it'll hold the trap down so the animal can't get away. Another great tool to have, guys, is this tool. It's like a 3-in-1, guys. It's got your hole maker for your hole, and it also has a hammer on it and like a little shovel on it so you can clean up. Another tool you don't want to forget is your sifter, guys. This is like one of the most important parts of setting this trap, is you gotta have a sifter. We have a wooden one right here. They actually sell metal ones and stuff that you can use, but this one's worked just fine. So let's get away from the talking, guys, and let's actually show you guys how to set this trap. Alright, guys, so we're about to set the trap. We got our stuff right here, but one thing I wanted to say real quick was, if you guys are just setting your first trap, you probably got to wear some gloves. You don't want to snap your finger off in the trap, guys. I've actually snapped my finger in the trap. It does not feel good. But I'm a little more experienced, so I know I'm not going to snap my fingers, so I'm not wearing gloves. But for you newbies out there, please wear some gloves. I don't want you losing your fingers and blaming Learning the Wildlife like they told you to set a trap. Okay. So now that's aside, let's get to setting this trap. So right here, I am at a sloped bank, guys. I usually prefer a little more of a flat area. This spot just looked really good, and it was in an area where you'd see some fox tracks. But one thing that we like to do, guys, is when you're making a trap with this type of set that we're going to be showing you guys, you're gonna be making a hole, because this is called a dirt hole set. You're making a hole, it looks like a mouse was in there, he died, and they're gonna smell them, they're gonna try to dig them out. So usually mouse homes are near some kind of structure. So this is by this tree right here, this little cedar tree we got here. It's actually pine, not cedar, sorry. But it's by this pine tree, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the hole, make it look like a mouse home, and then I'm gonna set the trap under the hole, and so they'll go to dig it out, trap will catch it. So, first thing I do is I try and find like a spot where I actually want to set the trap in the bank. So this slope's right here, and so I'm gonna put the hole probably right here at this slope, and it'll be kind of coming down, and then I'm gonna make like a little flat bed for the trap to sit in. So I'm gonna be using this stake to make the hole, guys, since I don't have that very expensive tool I told you guys about earlier. So I'm just gonna stick it into the ground, kind of like this, where I'm thinking about setting my trap, just a general area. I'm gonna take this rock, but I'm gonna put it, I gotta make sure I beat this thing in at about a 45-degree angle, guys. That hole needs to be at a 45-degree angle so they can actually see down in there. You know what I'm saying? And so, since I'm on a bank, it'd probably be a little lower than 45 degrees because they're gonna be coming up more than likely. And so, yeah, I'm gonna beat this in there. I'm gonna beat it in about a foot or so, guys, just to make sure that hole's pretty deep, because we want them to have a reason to dig this hole out. And so what I'll do is I'll take it and kind of rotate this thing around. Just rotate this stake around, you can roll it around in your hand. And as you guys can see, this is actually turning into a hole. It's actually looking like a little mouse home right here. So I'm just gonna keep working with it, guys, till I get it to where I want it. I want it pretty deep, pretty hard to see down in there for the animal, because we want them to come and investigate, guys. So I think I've got my hole pretty good. Yeah, that's a really nice hole, guys. This looks pretty professional. And so what I'm gonna do now, guys, is I want to set my trap, depending on what you're targeting. If you're targeting a coyote, since it's bigger, your trap should be about 7 inches away from the hole. The bed of your trap, which is where your trap's gonna be setting, waiting to clamp in on that animal's foot, it'll be about 7 inches away if you're targeting a coyote. Now, if you're targeting a fox, you want this trap to be about 4 inches away. That's a smaller animal, guys. You're gonna move it a little closer to the hole, because they're gonna be sniffing right here, and their feet are gonna be right down behind their faces. So I'm setting this for fox right now, guys. So I'm really gonna do about 4 inches away, which is about, yeah, right here. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all this stuff right here, and I'm gonna set this aside, because we're gonna need that later, guys. We're gonna need this stuff to hide the trap back, because we don't want it to look like it was here. So I am gonna push this stuff out of the way, make sure I save it. And now, guys, this is where your shovel comes in handy, because now I'm gonna kind of cut the area where I want that trap to be sitting, guys, and I'm gonna kind of dig it out. Cameraman, could you come a little closer? All right, so now my cameraman's a little closer, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and finish digging this out. So I'm just drawing a circle, basically, guys, about as big as my trap's gonna be, because once this trap opens up, it's gonna be decently big, guys. And then I'm gonna take this shovel, dig it out. You know, this shovel is pretty hard. I mean, this ground right here we got, guys, it is pretty hard. So I'm gonna dig this out. The whole goal is just make a bed, basically, guys, for this trap to land. And one thing I forgot to mention, guys, was when you go to set your trap in an area where it's really cold, guys, let's say it's winter, or if you just live in a cold climate, you need to make sure you set that trap somewhere where when the sun's setting, it'll be shining on that in the latter hours of the day, so that that trap stays warm, because they will freeze at night, and so that'll just the sun shining on it for those last few hours will prolong the length of it not freezing, guys. So let me finish carving this out. All right, guys, we're actually getting somewhere now. I dig down about maybe 1.5 inches, or maybe an inch or two, and then I'll kind of decide how much dirt I want to put back in there so that trap can land based on the slope of the ground. Now, guys, trial and error is a big part of trapping. You just gotta do it. The more you do it, the better you get. That's how everything in life is, guys. So the more you do it, the better. But I'm gonna see how this trap's gonna look sitting down in there. Now, guys, when you go to set your trap, this trap has this little trigger pin thing right here, guys. And that is actually what helps the trap set off. You want that to be facing the hole of your trap set. It's gonna be facing that hole. You want to point it just like that, and then this little tip of the trap right here needs to be facing you. So let me see how well this will fit in here, guys. That's pretty decent. I still want to carve out. You want it to fit in there nice and snug, guys. Oh yeah, that's nice right there. Yep, that's perfect. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna take some of this dirt I dug up. I'm just gonna sprinkle it down there, because if I don't, this trap will shift when the animal steps a little bit, and I want this thing to be nice and cozy in there. All right, guys, so now I'm gonna show you how to actually set your foothold trap. These two levers right here, guys, are actually what open this up so you can actually pull these down. So all you gotta do is make sure you're wearing shoes, pull these down like that, and then you push this down. See this lever right here? This is what holds this in place. And then there's this trigger right here that this rests on that holds this under there. You'll see. Here, watch. All right, so you push this down as far as you can, and then you push this and you lift the plate up, guys, onto this little lever. Because this plate is the trigger. So when the animal steps, they'll get caught. So what happens is, just like that, folks. That's how you set the foothold. All right, so now that it's set, guys, I'm gonna lead this guy up because we're gonna need to sit some under there, guys. So just tuck your trap in, kind of like this. No, actually, guys, I forgot to tell you something. We actually got to stake the trap down. I have forgotten to stake the trap down before. So let's go ahead and stake this down. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put these straps come with little chains, like a little hole right here for you to put the stake in. So you're gonna sit that right in the center of your hole right here. And then you're gonna take your big rock or your hammer, and you're gonna beat that sucker down. That's working really well. Now you can't just use any pin or stake, guys. You need to make sure you have one long enough. It'll actually hold that animal. And make sure, guys, when you're putting that stake in, you're not putting it in at an angle, because think about it, that little animal's gonna be pulling at an angle. He's not gonna be pulling straight up. So put the stake straight in the ground, guys, and he'll be pulling and he won't be able to get it up. Alright, so we got the stake in, guys. That was actually pretty hard. You make sure you bring a hammer when you go to do yours, guys. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and place this trap down here in our little bed that we made for it. Put it in nice and cozy. So one thing you want to check, guys, when you set your trap in your bed to make sure it's stable, guys, is push on the ends of your trap to make sure it's steady. Because if an animal steps on one of these ends, you don't want that trap shifting too much to where they'd feel it and then they'd run off. They'd know that, you know, you're up to something. So we're just going to tuck everything down, make sure everything's stable, tuck some stuff under there to make sure this trap set is in fact pretty stable. And so we can place rocks under the ends of the trap, guys, in order to secure it and place it more securely. So that's pretty secure, guys. So now what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to take just a simple clump of leaves. You can use moss, and they also sell pads that you can place under your trap. I'm not going to use that guy. I'm going to use this. You place it under the pan of your trap. And what that actually does, guys, is that keeps dirt from getting down in there and keeping your trap from setting off, because this is, in fact, the trigger of the trap. So that's why I told you guys to keep this thing up earlier. Now you can start putting dirt in around these sides to secure the trap. So one thing I went ahead and did, guys, was I pulled this trigger down a little more to where it's just barely on that pin so that it's a little more sensitive. That's just a quick, you don't have to do that, but that's a tip that I like to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and push this right here down, guys, and put some dirt under it so this will be stable and secure as well as everything else. You gotta be really careful when you're doing this, guys. And you wanna make sure the dirt you're setting around here is packed nice and tight. So now that we've gotten this dirt kind of packed around here, guys, the next step is you're gonna get your sifter out. What you're gonna do is you're gonna run to some location nearby, guys, and try and get a lot of dirt. Here we go. Just like that, guys. If you don't have dirt nearby, I like to pick loose dirt that matches the location a little better. But what you're gonna do is you're just gonna sift that over, just like this. So guys, I'm not gonna cover this thing too much. That can be a big flaw, putting too much dirt over your trap, guys. That'll ruin your whole set. So I've got this dirt sifted on here pretty well. But what I'm gonna do now, guys, this looks great, but I want it to match the area a little better. If you're in an area without much leaves or stuff like this on the ground, then this is fine. You can stop right here. But what I like to do is, when I'm in an area like this, is take some of these pine leaves and I'm just gonna sprinkle them over this trap so it looks just a little more natural to the animal. Because foxes and coyotes, guys, aren't dumb. They are really smart animals, guys. But I am gonna still make this look like a mouse has lived here and has made his abode here, just like this. This is an art, guys. This is truly an art. But what I'm gonna do is right where the mouse made his home, and what I'm gonna do is take some of the dirt clumps from my trap, medium-sized dirt clumps. You don't want big ones, you want medium-sized. I'm gonna take some of the ones from my sifter and sprinkle them around the outside. Just like, as if he had just dug this out. And I'm gonna have it running up in there. And so that makes that look totally like that has been dug out, guys, and the mouse is living in there. That looks really good, guys. And so another thing you can do, guys, is take some nearby rocks. They don't need to be this big. You need some small ones, about this size. And so I'm just gonna kind of plant them here to kind of guide the animal's foot, because unconsciously, guys, they're gonna set their foot on a rock and kind of just shift it out of the way of the rock as they're investigating this thing. So then I can kind of actually put a pattern of rocks here, guys, and guide their foot to that little circle pan of the trap a little better. Alright, so this trap looks great, guys. This is a really good set. That, you know what, if I really was, you know, inexperienced, I would say this is done. But I'm going to share some secrets with you guys. Sometimes animals, they'll come from over here and come to your trap, dig out the hole that way, and miss it all together. And they'll do it from the other side, but since I got this branch here, they're not going to be doing that. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take some kind of structure, and I'm going to place it on this bank. I can put a pile of leaves, some tufts of grass, or anything. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do is, you might think I'm crazy, but I'm going to take this piece of grass, and I'm going to plant it right here beside the trap to guide that animal to where he has to come around to where my pan is set. And I'm going to put these roots and everything in there, in the ground like that, and make that look natural too. I just planted some grass, guys, just like that. Isn't that so cool? Check it out. It looks like a little bit of grass has been growing here for years. Look at that. You would never even know that. And so that animal now has to come around over here to investigate this trap. And he is going to sniff all up in there because now we're going to add our bait. The first thing I'm going to add is some fox urine. And so what you do with this, guys, you just add some drops around the outside, just like that. You don't want too much, just some drops of this. So now I'm going to take some of this coyote bait, guys, and I'm going to put it in that hole. Another thing you can do, guys, is put it inside a clump of grass and put it in there, but I don't really want to do that today. Let me stir this up. And guys, another secret bait that we have discovered that works so good for trapping is an actual mouse. You can catch a mouse in a mouse trap, it'll kill him. The mouse trap will kill him, and you can set him in here, guys. And we have caught foxes doing that, guys, because they will come to eat that little mouse, and you know, you'll catch them. So I have this nasty looking bait right here that the animals will just love. And I'm just going to take about a dab, about that much. That might be a little too much, but about that much. And I'm going to stuff it down that hole, just like this. Because they're going to think that whatever lived in here has died now, and they can come eat it. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use some of this bobcat gland lure, but I'm not going to put it on the set. I'm going to put it on some of this grass that's up here, because it'll be like a bobcat came and he'll kind of rub himself on here and spread his glands scents all over this, and that'll make other bobcats and foxes and stuff a little more interested. So the way I'm going to do that is, I'm going to take this stick and I'm just going to dip it in there like that, and I'm going to rub it on this grass. Just like that, guys. And then what I can actually do with the stick, guys, is set it in there. Kind of hide it in there like a secret microphone or something. Just like that, it's gone. And so now, they're going to smell this, guys. I can smell it just in here. They're going to smell this from a long ways away, and you can call some serious animals like that, guys. And so now your trap is done, guys. This is a basic set that anybody can do if you have the right materials, guys. And so the last thing I'm going to do is make sure my area is free from my footprints and stuff, because I want this to look like a normal little mouse home. And now, guys, your trap is done. You can leave it. You can go to bed, guys, and wake up in the morning with the anticipation if you might have an animal in that trap. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to see more trapping videos, please comment below, because we are going to be doing a lot, guys. Trapping season is open where we live, and we are going to be having a blast. So if you guys like videos like that, please let us know. Like this video and subscribe if you're not already. And we'll catch you guys next time.